Good morning. I thought I'd document my journey into keeping chickens. Never kept chickens before. Something I've toyed with for years. And the other week I had the opportunity to buy a coop, second hand. And I knew I knew what I was getting into. So this is it. This is just a plastic rain shield. So this is my coop. It's what's one, probably 3 meters by a meter. This is something I've just bought that'll give them more. I'm only having 2 and I've got some rescue battery hens coming, so they'll have plenty of space. This is the coop, and I spent a good few days just giving it a tidy up, clear out. Well, as I said, I knew I was going to find some problems. This was one of them. Covered in felt, nails everywhere, just banged in. It was pretty bad. So I've repaired the bottom bit. I've only painted the outside, not the inside. I've repaired that so that now shuts, and when I put the latch back on it'll stay shut. There'll be some insulation material, some doorstop gap filler going in there, so it's had a bit of a coat of paint, but it's actually not in too bad condition. Because when I came to the roof, now it's bollocksed. You can see the wood's snapped there. I can't understand why they didn't make that an inch longer and just cut a right angle so it rested on this frame here, which would have given that so much more rigidity. It doesn't matter, nothing's going to sit on it, but just not brilliantly designed. Anyhow, I've got to repair it. One of the things is, because there's bitumen on this, I'm putting EPDM on it, which is the same stuff that's on my shed roof. And bitumen will react with EPDM and it'll degrade the EPDM. So the plan is we're going to remove this, and I was going to replace it with wood, and then I had a bit of an idea, and I've got some old plastic bathroom panels here which are absolutely great, and they're also spare, and I thought, oh, what a brilliant idea, I shall recycle them and then once I could I could genuinely leave them like that, but I'm not going to. There's going to be an EPDM roof, rubber sheeting going over this. These are just merely to replace this rubbish wood. So that's the plan. So I'm going to get this off. I ought to set my camcorder up, because this could be quite an interesting little. But yeah, this is my journey into keeping chickens. If you want to watch. If you don't, see you later. So it's things like this, look. It's just years of, the wood's not rotten, it's just old. It's just in need of a bit of TLC. So a screw up there, sort of on the scunt a little bit, we'll affix that nicely, and that'll make that more solid. So I think we'll get the nails out. We'll look at doing that. We'll look at giving it a good clean up. As you can see, there's all this old bitumen and rubbish here, and this is exactly what we're trying to get away from. This is what we don't want, all this rubbish. Okay, so that's got the staples out there, and I've done the same there. That's a bit more solid. So the first thing I'm going to fix is this, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a screw in here, essentially at an angle, and get it into both of those bits there and hold that together. And just, this isn't scripted, this is me doing this in real time. So if I split the wood open, which is exactly what I did just there, then shit happens, shall we say. So I'm hoping it doesn't, and I've got all the sort of gear to do this properly. That's the wrong screw. So, you know, please just appreciate that that's what this is. It's all unscripted as it happens. So look, I haven't got my tripod. I'll screw this together. That's a better screw, and we'll look at the result when it's done. Okay, so there we go. Let's put a crack in it, but that's much better. It's much more solid. So that's that bit done. Now I'm going to do the same here, and then I'm going to fix this. And I think what's happened here, oh no, it hasn't. Now, I thought these two bits of wood, let me turn the camera the right way around as you're looking at it, I thought they'd split, but where's my fingers? There, it hasn't. It's a separate piece of wood by the looks of it. And where I've put the right way around again, and where I've put the guttering on for the EPDM sheeting, it looks like, no, it hasn't split it. Oh, but look, it's quite, this wood is, it's a bit manky. Now, I don't think I have anything at the moment to replace it, so it'll do. Well, as I say, once it's been preserved and treated, it'll be fine. So yes, I'm going to do this. Okay, so there's the first piece cut, and the rest of it basically interlocks. Now when it's vertical, it's difficult to describe. The design for bathrooms, but it'll last a lot longer than wood. It's recycled, well, it has been recycled at least, or repurposed. It's costing me nothing. It's solid, and it should be absolutely ideal. I'm just debating whether to put a cross beam just across there where the joint is here, just to add a little bit of rigidity. And I think that long enough. No, I think that might not be a bad idea, to be honest. So I think I'll just have a bit of a think and see what I come up with. Do you know, obviously I'm going to silicone this in. That's surprisingly rigid. Even if one of the cats was to jump up on that, I don't think it'd give. I think we've got a winner there, folks. Okay, so a good gob of WP-70 silicone. So that should waterproof that, and then again when the rubber sheeting's on, that should waterproof it even more. So right, here we go. Again, I'm sorry I don't have my tripod. I'm gonna have to put the phone down while I do this. Do bear with me. Okay, so look, I'm clearly not going to win any neatness contests, but the side of these tiles are hollow. So as I'm injecting the silicone in, it's just sort of filling in the tile. So this doesn't have to be neat because this is going to be covered anyway. But there we go. I'm genuinely quite happy with that. I think that's come out quite well, considering what it's cost me, which is nothing. These were just offcuts from when I did my bathroom. So I've just Well, I've got the other side to do, and then I shall see what I'm going to do here. I suspect I'll probably just use some reinforced tape, or I might even use a piece of garden cane. But we'll see I'll see what's available. But yeah, for the moment, there we go. Okay, this side's a bit worse. This has come off altogether, which again shouldn't be an enormous fix. Simply a couple, as you see the screw there, look. So I'll take that out, just there. Take that out. Possibly just put a new nice longer screw in a little bit further down or further up, just put it at an angle, drive it into both these pieces of wood here, give it a clean up, do the same here. There was a little crossbar running across here, which I'll probably, again, it looks a bit, it's not feel too bad, but I think we'll just go again with the original plan. I might just stick that back across the top there, not bother nailing it or screwing it, just silicone it, it doesn't matter, and then just tarting it up. So yeah, I'm back to pulling all the screws off, getting rid of all the old bitumen. So I'm going to have a drink, I'm going to do that, I shall speak to you shortly. Right, since I took the original rotten wooden roof out, I've obviously, it makes sense, because there's no support across here, this is loose and you can see what's happening. So what I'm going to do is put a support brace, which I've cut here, and it's just a little bit too long. Now when you're cutting pieces of wood, remember, and this is the only piece I've got that's big enough left, it's much easier to cut a bit off than it is to have to stick some on. So always cut it a little bit longer. My friend used to have a saying for it, and I cannot for the love of God remember what it was, but it just basically meant add 1/4 of an inch on, and then, you know, it's easier to chop off. So I'm just going to take a little bit off of this. Okay, so just 2 screws, nice and solid, and it's just done away with that horizontal movement. It's also had the sort of effect of filling that gap up there somewhat, which is good. So okay, so what we'll do now is I'm going to repair this side. This side's not actually too bad, so I'm going to repair this side, get this damaged screw out, get rid of the bitumen, the asphalt, felt, whatever you want to call it, shingle, give it a good clean up, and then, what time is it? It's 1 o'clock. Hopefully I can get the other side of the roof on, and at least it'll be something like weather resistant. There's no birds in here at the moment, and there won't be. I've got a few weeks left, so do forgive me, I'll crack on. Okay, so cleaned up, stripped down, some new screws here and there. I've replaced this. It's pretty sound, it's not too bad, and again, once it's been painted and preserved, it should be fine. Remove the old felt. I've turned that round. Just, I don't know, it just means it's probably easier for me to put some padding in there now or something for the join. What that'll be yet, I don't know. But I've reinforced all of this, so this is now, it's much more solid, it's much stronger. So I'm genuinely happy about that. Excuse me. So final brush up, and then I'm going to get the sealant on and put the next set of tiles on. Right, I've discovered that when the 2 tiles are on, the problem isn't so bad there, but I am going to seal that up internally. See where the light's coming in? So I am going to seal that up from this side, but there's quite a gap here, so I'm going to use this, which is expander tape. And if you look on my channel, on YouTube, you'll see I've done a sort of review of this stuff, and I've only just remembered I've got it, and this stuff is fantastic, and it's also going to be what's going to go along here. So bear with me just while I get this sort of ready, and we'll see what's what. Okay, so here we go, and as you can see, it's now starting to expand, and trust me, that will expand as much as that, and that hasn't finished yet. So that will act as a nice insulation barrier, and when the rubber roof's on. So I've put some here as well to deal with this gap. I'm probably going to have to secure the tiles down. It's surprisingly firm, but again, if it acts as a little bit of insulation against cold, water, etc., I'm all for it. Wow. Okay, so well, there we go. And again, I make no apologies for the state of the silicon, because it won't be seen. I've managed to get the insulation tape pretty much in the middle, so that'll offer that some weather protection, but I am just going to cover it with something, that rain cover there, just temporarily, until I get the roofing material. It's done under there, so for the moment I think that's the roof repaired, and I think it's a considerable improvement as really as to what it was. So, and it's recycled. So okay, there we go. As I do more, I'll just keep you up to date. I don't know, it's probably a couple of hours later. I've been pottering around. Right, so haven't painted it all, but I've given it a lick of paint. I haven't painted the inside of the nesting boxes, but I have cleaned them out. I've had my compressor, I've had a good stiff brush, and I've given them a good dusting out, good clear out. Likewise in here. So there's a few little gaps. Look, I've just got to deal with, because I want it to be. I don't want it to be airtight. But there's a draft up there, drafting up there, an air vent. So I'm trying to make it cosy. So it's all nice and clean inside as well now. And I'm going to put some, I think it's called ultra dry powder, which is like a disinfectant powder, which sort of controls ammonia smells, pests, etc. It's not massively expensive. So, and I've still got that to repair there. Oh, I can actually see what's happened. The wood's obviously bent, so we just need to pull that in there. That's the nail there. I'll do that with a screw. I'll just screw it into that strut there, and that'll bring that back. So that's another little repair to do. Right, sorry, you probably can't read that very easily. I've put it in this bag. It's 25 kilograms. Ultra dry powder, a natural product for hygiene suitable for cattle, pigs, poultry and game. Absorbs moisture and ammonia, controls bacterial population, improves stock hygiene, is safe and environmentally friendly. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. And I'm not plugging them, because I've never used the stuff. So what I've done, I've taken a couple of handfuls, put them in a bottle, and then I've sort of randomly tossed it around in here. I've given it a scrub, I've got my air compressor on it, I've given it a blow, and I don't think it's diatomaceous earth. It has a very slight pink tinge to it. I'm wondering if it's kaolin. But that's what I've done, so I can sort of, if it works like diatomaceous earth, any insects, will basically be cut to ribbons. Diatomaceous earth, if you don't know, is made from little animals called diatoms. they're like tiny little seashell creatures, and they've been crushed up, and they basically cut the insect to death. They just death by 1,000 cuts. So I think that's probably one of the things that will do to assist with this. But as I say, I've just given it a bit of a dust and a bit of a spray. I've done the bedding boxes, the nesting boxes I should say. I'm going to be dealing with those gaps tomorrow. So yeah, anyhow, I think that's enough for today. Thanks for watching. Hiya. Right, I've pretty much finished the coop off today. Okay, I've used some old bathroom strips and I've made some guttering. And please, before anybody complains about the silicone, it's a chicken coop. So that will hopefully keep the rain off the wood. The roof has been, as you know, completely repaired. Again, we've got some guttering and a little bit of guttering at the back there. I've just siliconed that on, just to keep water off. This is a draught excluder, which allows me nice easy access into the lane boxes. So that should hopefully keep the drafts at bay there. I've tightened up and sealed a few more of the gaps here, one or two other small gaps, nothing serious, but just keep drafts out. I've redone this here. This was hanging loose, so I've now fastened it actually internally. So inside now I've lined the lane boxes with EPDM. Everything's had a good dusting with the disinfectant powder. There's a little roost for them. I'm putting some EPDM down on the floor, again purely to make it easier for me to clean, but we've done a few minor repairs up here. This is the new sort of roof that I did in the other video. And as I said today, I've just been making sure it's airtight. So there's insulating, expanding foam to, you know, I really am trying to make this as pleasant as I can for them. So, and of course here's their secondary run. This is going to be the floor for the chicken coop. It's not cut to size yet. I'm just sticking it. I'm using more of those bathroom tiles, so I'm just sticking them down. So for the moment, there we go. It's all starting to come together quite nicely. I'm going to do something about this gap here, and I think I'm going to put a piece of wood at the back here, specifically that piece there, and then just use some more of this wonderful EPDM just to sort of simply make a bit of a trap door, as it were. Won't interfere with the main door, but will just fill this large gap in here. So I think that'll be the next job. There we go. Just a little piece of spare EPDM that just covers that little gap up there. So yeah, there we go. Good afternoon. I've just had confirmation that my rescued chickens are going to be here Saturday, so to that end it sort of spurred me on just to do a few more things with the coop. So this is the OBIOS or BIOS, whatever you want to call it, bedding material. I've put there's a sheet of EPDM under here on two separate things, which hopefully will make it easier to clean. As you can see, I've got some in the nesting boxes for them. I discovered that the door had quite a significant gap here. So, and this is just a very quick fix, but all I've done, I've just used some double-sided foam. I've removed the stickiness off one side, glued it to the inside, and that makes quite an effective draft seal, and ditto here on the other side as well. The guttering is now done properly. The sealant I was using just wasn't sticking very well, so I've used something else. Here's the flap, so when I put the additional run, there's no gap for them to jump out, or so that's that. There's the little roosting thing, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, there we go. So that's just tightened up and just gotten rid of that gap round there, and as you can see there, it's made quite a difference to that gap. So that should make it a little bit less drafty for them. So thanks for watching, and I'll just keep you updated with things as they happen. Good morning all. It's T-minus 4 hours till chickens arrive. So just to make sure that when I put them into the open area there, when they eventually sort of figure out what's going in, they've got some food. And there's some layers pellets, or layers pellets I think it's supposed to be pronounced. I thought that was a manufacturer, but I think it refers to the fact that the chickens lay eggs, so they are layers. So that's those in there, just off the ground. Some water with a bit of apple cider vinegar, as I understand that's a tonic for them. Good for stressed birds. Some treats, not many, and some grit. Now my soil's quite rocky, but not gritty, so it may be that they'll find that useful, they may not, but hopefully that's pretty much, everything there to give them a good start. So that's the plan. So as I say, when I go and pick them up, I'll set the camcorder up, and yeah, I just hope they don't fly away. But there we go. Thanks for watching. I've been in two minds regarding the cats. Now, needless to say, I'm not going to let them into the chicken coop when the chickens are in there. But I just figured I'd let them just get used to it. Now, there's plenty of ways that she can get out. She's not trapped. She's just a bit curious. She seems to quite like it, actually. She's just... oh, there she's on the move again. There she is. Now there's only one way out at the moment, and that's through the open door. She probably can't see, but just there. She's just in front of it now, almost. Just to her right. So there's her exit, straight in front of her. She's done it before. She just finds it intriguing being in this cage. And she's licking water. Now she's playing with the cable ties. I haven't chopped them off. Papa. She'll get out. She's done it before. Okay, there we are. There's 3 chickens in there. It sounds great. So I'm not going to mess about. I'm just going to get out of here. Okay, so I'm not entirely sure how the best way to do this is. So I think I'm just going to take the safety catches off, and then I'm just going to lift the lid up, remove the lid, and I'm hoping that the chickens will be able to sort themselves out. That's the plan. So I'm just going to have to be ready to close the door. Just one of them's not quite, of course it's the door itself. There we go. We're getting there. Okay. And there are my chickens. Now, they're going to be a little bit stressed and confused, so I think I'll just let them settle. But they look okay. Apparently these are from an organic farm, so, but we're looking okay. So far so good. So I'm going to shut the door and I'm just going to leave them to sort themselves out. Little bit more alert. Hopefully they'll see the hole and they'll go out. I've got getting the stairs off one here. Right, let's just shut the door up, leave them to it. So, okay, so that's the coop door is open, the nesting box is closed, that exit's closed, that exit's closed, and that exit's closed. So I think the only thing I can do now is let nature take its course. Okay, so they're out of the cat carrier. They're all in the coop free. One of them, this one here, just having a pay, just stuck his head out, but I'm not sure. There we are, look. Oh, there's no food in there, so I don't know what he's pecking at, but there's food down here, so I'm hoping that he'll realise. I might just throw him a few chicken treats just on the steps to try and encourage them down. That might be a good idea, actually. I think I'll do that. Bear with me. I know it's blackmail, but just to try and encourage them down, I've just put some corn and some seeds on the steps. They've come from Dorset, as I understand it, so they have had a bit of a journey. So I can't blame them for being a bit shagged out. But at least there's a bit of corn on the floor for them to have a good peck at when they feel brave enough. Oh my lord, they're out. They're all out. Incredible. So it looks like my little food trick may have worked. But look at them go here. Amazing. I'm dead chuffed. I'm extremely happy. That one's Colonel Sanders. She's got quite a white, I don't know what they call the thing on the top of the head, I must be honest, but it's quite pale. I don't know what to call it. Well, I've got to work out to differentiate. Oh, okay. Alright, Colonel Sanders, and that's McNugget. And that one there is McDonald. She's the noisy one. Oh, this is great. So, they've had their first night in the coop. I had to crawl in last night and actually sort of guide them up into where they needed to be. But let's see what happens now when I open their door. Let's see what they do. Hello. Yeah, they're there. I'm just gonna leave them to it. They've got food. I can see they've got water. Yeah. All the exits are locked. Yep. 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 I suspect they'll come out when they're ready. So I only opened the coop door 10 minutes ago. Look, they're all. Here comes Squeak, having a look. Okay, it's still Sunday morning. I've just been out for a couple of hours. I've come back and I couldn't see any of the chickens. And there's one there just having a good peg. The other two, it would appear, have managed to work their way and figure out how to get back in the coop. So, great. It's 9:25 Sunday morning, and I've heard them scratching about in here. Look at this. We've got an egg. I've got my first ever egg. Oh, it's warm. Oh, wow. Appears to be in very good condition. I'm genuinely chuffed. My first ever egg. I've got another egg. Now, It's a bit difficult to see. It's a bit malformed. It's not a particularly egg shape. It's got some dimples in it, and I have heard that this is perfectly normal, simply because the chickens have been a bit stressed, but they should return to normal. So I'm not going to get rid of it, but it feels very different to and looks very different to that egg. I can't tell if there's a yolk in it or anything. Well, there we go. So that's two. Although, as I say, that's a beautiful egg. That one, I'm not so sure.